right, a good evening to you and Merry Christmas to you, the viewer of West Nile Television. You're most welcome for the NILE CAST News Bulletin, and today is the 25th of December 2023, and this is the day where we celebrate the birth of our Lordship Jesus Christ. And this is also not a day for you to go and do so many bad things, and that is why we had a special programming for you to also call, because this is a day for you to express and share love with your loved ones. And in a special way, I want to call whoever called and sent regards to their loved ones, and this is what we should always preach. And nonetheless, you are most welcome for the NILE CAST News Bulletin with me, Farish Majid. But before we get to give you the news bulletin in detail, let's first have a look at what is making rounds in the headlines. In the headlines tonight, Christians across the world celebrate Christmas Day. Business persons decry poor sales on Christmas Day. And Christians in Pakwach have been urged to use the Christmas Day to fight corruption. For this and more, in the NILE CAST News Bulletin. You're most welcome for the NILE CAST News Bulletin, and once again, my name is Farish Majid, and to begin off the news bulletin with one of the top stories, Christian faithfuls across the world today celebrated the Christmas Day, and all over the world, churches we are seeing filled to capacity, as some places we also left with people attending the prayers from outside. Let's take a look at how the day went down in Adjumani, as Alan Onzima was able to move to some of the worship centers.
Christmas, the annual Christian feast that marks the birth of Jesus Christ, is celebrated on 25th December annually, and today thousands of Christians gathered at Adjumani Catholic Parish to mark the celebrations with prayers. While passing the Christmas message to the believers, the main presider, Reverend Father Oroshi Joseph Baro, thanked all Christians for enabling them to make the day colorful, since the birth renews the joy and virtue of man in spiritual and physical world at large.
It's a day of joy because God has done something great for humanity, so that humanity should not get lost. I invite all of you, and this is my Christmas wish for all of you, that this joy should remain in our hearts, but also transform our lives, as the first reading says.
While expressing her joy towards the day, Honorable Adrupio Irene Api, Secretary for Finance, Adjumani District Local Government, appealed to the Christians to honor celebrating the day peacefully.
And it is once a year that we normally come together. Those who are from far, near, they all come together at a home where they can celebrate in their various villages. I urge them to celebrate the day in a peaceful manner, in a joyful manner, so that it will show meaning of celebrating the day.
Shortly after the Holy Mass at Adjumani Catholic Parish, Ahuma Jessica Draparaku, a teacher by profession, appealed to Christians to use the day to get closer to God.
Many times we prepare by cooking a lot of food, putting on smartly, and forget to prepare our souls. Christmas celebration should be a time for us to change our way of life, that we may not only be clean outside, but clean inside in our souls, that we may receive Christ in our hearts, and He changes our lives. We renew our lives. May Christ be born afresh in everything that we do.
While briefing journalists at Hotel Haragan, Taban Data Peter, the resident district commissioner, Adjumani, cautions the members of the public on unnecessary spendings, as he also called upon them to be security cautious during the period.
And as we celebrate this year, let us know that next year is not too far, where we shall have a lot of things that will come. Payment of school fees is there waiting for us, so let us not spend extravagantly. I will also call upon you that as we celebrate this Christmas, as I mentioned before, that people will be coming from every part of the world to celebrate. Others will be coming with the wrong motives. So let us be vigilant that we shall not entertain any wrongdoers to come and disrupt this day that God has made for us to have joy and peace.
The day usually brings family together to celebrate with their loved ones, since it's a day of feasting among the Christian faithfuls. Peace Oshaki, Onjima Alan, West Nile TV, Nile Cast.
On with the news bulletin, moving away from Adjuma this time to Arua City, the hub of West Nile's capital city, and in the line of business where we were able to move. Several business persons in Arua City on Christmas Day declared low sales due to poor turnout. This forced many of them to close their businesses, as witnessed in the early morning, to have time with their families. Frederick Dramadri was able to move on the streets and to check on people's experiences.
For the first timers, we are on Hospital Road, that is in Arua City, trying to assess how people are able to celebrate the Christmas and also what activities are going on. If you can see around, you will realize that the number of motorcycles on the streets is increasing, but the number of vehicles, to the contrary, is reducing, and that's how business is going. We have been able to see that in different places of worship, especially for the Christians, mass going on, and that's what we are seeing now. And we want to get to one of the border guys that we have got on Hospital Road to understand from him how his day started and also how the day is going on. Maybe you start with your names.
Yeah, I'm Nyakuni Francis. That is my name, but people call me Orea. I'm from Muni, near Muni University.
Okay.
Now we are back from the church. The turn up of border, it is still low. And now we don't know what is going to be there. The shops are closed. And I also see...
How is the business generally?
Now, the one of today, the turn up is low because people are still celebrating Christmas. But yesterday, the turn up was good. We were able to get some money.
Right here on Avenue Road, that is in the center of the city, is where we are. Currently, if you look at most of the business places, they are actually on this road, and most of the shops have been closed. That's what we are seeing here. And if you look at some of the few people who are doing business on the road or by the roadside, you realize that most of them are actually testifying that the business is not flowing well because most of the people have gone to the villages or have gone home. They are not coming to do parties at this time. And
actually today's business is not like the one for yesterday. Yesterday it was so booming, but today it's basically on those who are selling drinks who are doing good business. But for us who are selling phones and accessories, there's no money for today's case.
From the butchery section at Arua Main Market, the cost of meat has increased a bit, and that is goat going now at 19,000, and also the cow's meat is going at 16,000 shillings. And this from the business persons is as a result of the long distance traveled by the business persons who bring the cattle to Arua City, and most of them get this cattle from Lango and the Acholi sub-regions, which is quite expensive, and that's the region they're actually attributing this to. But in terms of business flow, they are actually indicating that the business is not all that well, that they have been able to slaughter 2 heads of cattle, and this has not been able to move very fast as in the previous festive seasons. Frederick Dramadri, Faris Mazid, West Nile TV, Nile Cast.
Welcome back. Moving away from Arua City this time round to Pakwach, but still in relation to Christmas celebrations. Catholic Christians of Pakwach district have been urged to use Christmas celebrations to speed up the fight against corruption. This call was made by Pons Onzaliawinju, the Bishop of Nebli Anglican Diocese, while giving his message to the Christians. However, Minister Evelyn Anite commends Bishop Pons Awinju Onzale for using the Christmas message to preach against corruption. Take a look at the story.
Reverend Father Anthony Jakwonga, the parish priest, Pakwach Catholic Parish, in his sermon to the Christians today, revealed that most of these were new Christians who went for the first time to pray. He added that at Pakwach Catholic Parish, a total of 667 Christians attended the service. Jakwonga also added that Christians should use this day responsibly and understand the meaning. Gilbert Kermondo, a resident of Angaloleko in Nebi district, who prayed at Ulieku Catholic Chapel, appealed to parents to prioritize education of their children for a better future. He said people should spend sparingly as children will go back to school next year in February. Evelyn Anite, the state minister for privatization, who prayed at St. Stephen's Cathedral, Goli, said she was grateful to God for granting her a new day. She added that Christmas is celebrated once a year and this should strengthen her faith. The minister lauded the Bishop of Nebi Anglican Diocese, Right Reverend Pons Zelawinjo, who used the same event to preach and mobilize against corruption in this country.
The other lesson that I learned from Bishop Pons the Bishop of Nebi Diocese, was that we must leave corruption this year. As we start the new year, we must keep ourselves away from corruption. We must not be thieves. That government, I was happy to hear that government sends a lot of money, and I was very, very happy to hear this message from the bishop.
Meanwhile, Right Reverend Pons Zelawinjo, the Bishop of Nebi Anglican Diocese, while giving his sermon today, encouraged the Christians to celebrate the day peacefully. According to the man of God, during such gatherings, many people take advantage of stealing and hurting their colleagues.
Ugandans are not poor, except our lifestyle of sin brings poverty upon us. When we fear doing wrong things like corruption, I am very sure the Lord will bless our country. Mary remained a virgin, and that is how she got that blessing. God used a virgin. In other words, she did not go out promiscuously. And this is the year. The new year, let us enter with the fear of God, doing God's will, and you see how God will bless our nation, how God will bless our country, Uganda.
Our reporter visited some churches in Greater Nebi, both Catholics, Church of Uganda, and other born-again churches, and found out that the number of Christians were not as expected, unlike in the previous years. Alfred Jawok, West Nile TV, Nile Cast.
Back, and in case you're just joining us right now, you're most welcome aboard for the NILE CAST News Bulletin. And moving on from West Nile, this time around the national scene, the Kabaka of Buganda, Ronald Muwenda Mutebi II, has urged religious leaders to openly speak on issues concerning the kingdom and the ordinary Ugandan citizens. The Kabaka made this call during the Christmas celebrations prayers at Rubaga Cathedral in his speech, read by his brother Prince Wasaja. He urged the religious leaders to speak with firmness on issues that take the kingdom and the entire country forward. Meanwhile, Reverend Paul Semogerere, the Archbishop of Kampala Diocese, who led the service, decried the numerous atrocities committed in Uganda against the citizens, ranging from corruption, lack of respect for rule of law, and extortions, among others. Alright, dear viewer, that marks the end of the NILE CAST News Bulletin, and for this Christmas edition, today I've been Farish Majid, and in a special way I want to thank you who kept it right from the time we began till the time we are closing with the News Bulletin. And in a special way I also want to encourage you and advise you to end up celebrating this day in a peaceful way. Other than that, you may also be able to fall culprit maybe in terms of breaking